I recently purchased Black Ops 4. First thing I did was try out zombies. It wasn't the same. It was identical to the last game? Well, what's the point of buying a new game when you can play the same thing over and over again? If you like the older games more, I'm just liking the video, finding where you can live so I can lecture you on the point of what is buying a new game. You retard! Black Ops 4 is a good game! My point is, the games have changed too much, and for the worse. Also, with the very beginning of Zombies and an entire history of it, which can span into maybe another part. Zombies was a reward you got for beating World at War's campaign. It was originally going to be a tower defense game mode. Somebody at Treyarch must have been smoking something pretty good, considering they replaced it with zombies in a World War II game. But in actuality, it was a good decision because it was a giant success. See, COD Zombies is different. Not about like a zombie apocalypse like most normie zombie games, about Nazi zombies. But Nazi is an offensive word, and since YouTube is run by SJWs, having Nazi in the title will cause people to get offended. Having Nazi in the title will get the channel taken down, and that's why I'm making the title of the video Racist Zombies. Anyways, Nationalist Socialist German Worker Zombies is all about the conspiracy theories and mysteries of World War II. The Nazis did some horrific experiments in real life, and they over-enunciate horrific, so it sounds like they're retarded, and some of them involve dead people. The Nazis had some questionable beliefs that sound absolutely retarded nowadays. Nocturne and Toten was the very first zombies map. If you want to get German about it, it's German bunker somewhere. That's it. The name translates to Night of the Undead in German. The map itself introduced the game mode and the point system. You get points for shooting zombies and repairing windows. You use points to do pretty much everything. Open doors and buy guns and buy doors and open guns. You can buy guns off the wall and from the mystery box. The box gives you random guns. One of the guns isn't from the regular game, and that is the ray gun. It is the most powerful weapon in the map, and has been in every Treyarch Zombies game since. Power-ups are random drops that give you bonuses by killing zombies. Double points, insta-kill, nuke, and max ammo. Double points is what it says on the tin, but insta-kill makes every zombie die instantly when they receive any number of damage. Nuke kills every zombie that is alive at time and gives you 400 points. Max ammo refills your gun with ammo. Some people started scratching their heads going, "What's this here?" with the ray gun. But other than that, nothing else was really intriguing about the map. It was extremely simplistic and easy to follow, and it was just plain out fun. Everyone was just having an absolute blast. Blast! Since the mode was a success, Treyarch decided to continue it in DLC 1 with Verrückt. Verrückt is an insane asylum based off of Wittenau Sanatorium in Berlin. The name translates to insane or crazy in German. If you want to get German about it, the map introduced new features like the Perk-a-Colas, the traps, and the power switch. The perks act like the perks in multiplayer, except there's only 4, and they are Quick Revive, Double Tap, Root Beer, Speed Cola, and Juggernaut. Quick Revive lets you revive down teammates faster. That's when you get hit by a zombie twice and you go down. You either die in solo or wait for a teammate to revive you. If no one revives you, then you actually die and you have to spectate them until the next round. The perk is good when you know one of your teammates sucks in the game. In Black Ops 1 and afterwards, it gives you 3 extra lives. You go down, and then after like 30 seconds, it brings you back up. Double Tap Root Beer makes you able to shoot and fire your gun much faster. If your gun has low ammo capacity, then it's not a great idea. Speed Cola lets you reload your gun much faster. It's extremely helpful. When you're in like a corner or something, and you're gonna die, if you reload your gun slow, then you're gonna die. Juggernaut is a word pun on eggnog and juggernaut. It is, in my opinion, the most useful perk because it lets you take about like 5 hits before you go down. When you do go down, you lose all of your perks and have to buy them again. The zombies in this map are much more aggressive than any other zombies map. They'll run much faster than the ones in Noct. But the zombies have some changes that stuck with them ever since, like hitting people from the barriers and double stuffing people, which is hitting them twice very fast. Without Jug, you will die. Newer games tone this down, eventually getting rid of it in Black Ops 3, I think, but in Black Ops 2 is a big issue. Power Switch can open doors that are exclusively power doors. It activates the perk machines and turns on the traps. In this map, it only turns on the one door in spawn that separates you from your teammates. In this map, you play with your friends, it'll separate you from them. Two groups spawn in two different rooms right next to each other. There's a door that separates the two rooms. The box can now move to another spot on the map when you use it too much. In this map, when you get a power-up, a creepy little girl will announce what it is. Some people didn't think much of this, but some people asked, who be that? Will they buy my merch? Are they subscribed to PewDiePie? Sometimes when a zombie hit you, it sounded like it said, Sam. Sam! Some people started to wonder, who is this Sam person? Your name is Sam, that probably kind of made you wonder, how does Shrek know I did? The whole Sam thing kind of gave birth to the entire zombie storyline. The zombie saying Sam was actually an accident. They didn't really know until other people noticed. And then the story was born. If you want to know the whole thing, just look up the COD Zombie storyline, because there's plenty of videos on it, and there's like entire channels dedicated to it. But, so I will tell the story from what happened in Nacht to Veracht right now, then the rest of them I will do as I go along. So, in the zombie storyline, the magical and mystical element 115 can do lots and lots of things, like reanimate dead cells and thus an entire corpse. The zombie story is rooted in conspiracy theories. Pretty much the story is about Group 935. They're a group that does science and stuff. They tried making a cure for cancer, among other things. Their motto was to improve the human condition. It was formed on May 10th, 1931. It's a secret group dedicated to the study of Element 115. Element 115 originally came to Earth via meteors. The most prominent, the largest impact in human history, the Tunguska event. It was a giant meteor that crashed into the Earth in 1908. It didn't really kill anyone because it landed in a remote area in Siberia, where McDonald's eats man and not the other way around. Pretty much, it flattened a countless amount of trees, 770 square miles of it. The bombing of Hiroshima only did 5 square miles of damage. Nobody was killed in the Tunguska event that we know of because of how unbelievably remote the location is. Vending machines have killed more people than the world's largest impact while humans were alive. But no, seriously, people die every year from vending machines falling on them. Guess you could say the rules switched. Get it? Instead of the people coming to the food came to them. A little too hard. Anyways, a large deposit of Element 115 was found in Breslau, Germany. It wasn't only one meteor, and also maybe just there for some reason, I don't know. Group 95 was found by Dr. Ludwig Maxis on May 10th, 1931. Found Element 115 so absolutely fascinating, so he quit his job, packed his bags, and funded the group. He built a facility near Breslau called Duries. The group was to be an absolute secret. Even the scientists that worked there were not allowed to tell their families. Maxis did this so that none of the knowledge would fall into the wrong hands. November 5th, 1934, Dr. Maxis' wife died during childbirth to a child named Samantha. And because of this, he had Samantha work with him and some of the other Group 95 facilities. She made some friends there with some of the other kids that were there for some reason. I don't even know why they're there. And sometime later, a man named Dr. Edward Richthofen was invited to the group secretly working with the Illuminati. Yes, the Illuminati is part of the story. So that's a stupid meme kind. It's just the secretive group that controls things through the shadows. Guess what time it is? It's Japanese time. During World War II, Japan became low on resources because of the whole isolation thing, I guess. So they knock on China's door. When I mean knock, they actually just kick down the door and start invading. In Manchuria, they found a 115 meteor. Meteor Man! April 10th, 1937, the Japs started making a facility around it and partner with Group 925. Japanese make a group called Division 9. They run one of the facilities known as the Rising Sun Facility. Richthofen goes to it sometimes. Not sure about Maxis, though. Richthofen even made his own little section of it. June 17th, 1937, America finds some little deposits of the element near Groom Lake. That's where A51 is! September 2nd, 1939. At this time, Richthofen starts work on his weapon, the Wunderwaffe DG2, or for the layman, DaSouperDooperDude 2, or the Wunderwaffe DG2. It fires electricity utilizing 115. December 4th, 1939, Richthofen and Dr. Schuster begin testing on the MTD, the matter transference device. On the 151st trial, they teleport a walnut from one end to the other end. They show Maxis, but he declines it, saying Edward's walnut delivery is a waste of time, and then lets Richthofen in on the secret of the fundings by Jew-burning Mustache Man Club. And Richthofen exposes Maxis and makes a sick diss track on this because of how scientists from all over the world working with them. If they find out, they will surely leave. He also commented on how weapons shouldn't be their focus as it was not intended to be. After that, Richtofen and Schuster work on the MTD in secret.
To be working on. With all due respect, Dr. Maxis, this is a breakthrough of unimaginable proportions. What? That you moved a walnut a few feet? Yes, Edward. We will improve the human condition by revolutionizing the walnut industry. I can see it now. Edward's walnut delivery. Don't be obtuse. How dare you call me that? We are at war, Edward. I will admit that there is promise here. But until this war is won, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Maxis, but Group 935 is a research organization. What was the motto? To improve the human condition? What business of ours is this for? Fine, Dr. Richtofen. I will let you in on a little administrative secret. We are finalizing a deal with the Nazi Party. We need funding. We need equipment. They need new weapons. Chances are this war will end soon with a treaty or two, and we will be in a much better position to help the world. Are you certain this won't cause massive defections? We have scientists from all over the world working with us. That is why it is with the utmost confidence that I share this with you. No one will know of this. This is simply the breaking of an egg to make an omelet. Think of the tactical advantage we would have. Think of the cost. Think of the time. We can provide the Nazis technical expertise in various areas without putting all our eggs in your walnut basket. Good day, Edward, and get back to your real work. Bloody jerk. I think Dr. Maxis has lost his perspective. No matter. We'll do this on our own and publish the findings before he has a chance to. You're not suggesting that Dr. Maxis would steal this technology and perfect it without us, are you? I would by no means discourage that thought. Great scientists must stick together and achieve great science.
Guess what time it is? It's Nazi time! They do call it Nazi zombies for a reason. July 13th, 1940, Dr. Maxis cannot keep up with the demands or the money that they need. They need more of the element itself, so they send it later to the Reichstag High Command, asking them if Group 935 makes weapons for them, the Nazis will give funds and more Element 115. They agree, and carry this out, switching the focus from curing cancer to making guns. During this time, a Russian man, Nikolai Belinsky's wife, is killed during a bombing in Stalingrad, I'm pretty sure. To ease the pain, he resorts to vodka. Then makes a drunken delusional fantasy where he has 9 wives and kills them all besides his 4th wife, which escaped. Nikolai then bought some OxyClean, tracked her down, and cleaned his axe with her neck. October 3rd, 1940. A Group 935 facility is created in Siberia. Maxis and Richtofen start experiments involving teleportation. Maxis and Richtofen experiment with a device known as the MTP, Matter Transference Prototype. The subjects that are teleported either die or turn into piles of organs and gore. When using it, one of the corpses was resurrected from Element 115 used in the machine. They take a note of this and decide to make an undead army as any normal person would. They plan on controlling the zombies so they can follow orders. Controlling dead people isn't easy, though. Zombies that was making progress known as Subject 256 became rabid after a false fire alarm was triggered and attacked the handler. On January 4th, 1940, after fiddle-diddling with the MTD, it now seemed good enough to teleport live human subjects effectively. Dr. Maxis did not know of this. As it was secret, Richtofen volunteered to be the first human subject. The receiving end was behind a thick cinder block wall. Instead of being teleported to the receiving end, he was teleported to the moon, in a small cave that surprisingly had oxygen. In its center was a pyramid, which was later to be named the MPD, or Moon Pyramid Device. It's made by the Apothecons to transport to and from the ether. The ether was a dimension where you get magical powers and other bullcrap that isn't explained very well. Richtofen, not knowing what it is, touches it, and immediately he gets shocked by static electricity. After that, he hears voices. He is now schizophrenic. One of those voices is the Shadow Man's. He is an Apothecon who pretty much leads all the Apothecons, and Apothecons are like evil things. He's very good at deception and lying. Hearing some whispers, Richtofen then, not because of the whispers, gets teleported to Shangri-La. Shangri-La is a fictional place in a book made by English writer James Hilton, where a place known as Shangri-La exists. It is somewhere in the Himalayas. The place is an ancient city utopia place where people are forever happy. In the zombie story, inhabitants are very tribal and worship Richtofen when they see him. They make an altar with his name written in it. This is where he finds the focusing stone, an artifact of sort that does things. Richtofen sets up some sort of thing there until he returns to Breslau 19 days later. finds Schuster, thinking Richtofen had died and is about to abandon the experiment. Richtofen arrives and says, "Don't scrap anything!" He shows Schuster his findings about the moon and the Shangri-La, so they decide to form a plan. They then get some other scientists to join their little thing. They teleport resources to the moon and build Griffin Station, Group 935 Splinter Group headquarters. Richtofen abandons the Illuminati. July 13th, 1940. Darius at this point lacks money in 115, so Mustache Man Club gives new 935 2 extra facilities to work with. They are Kino der Toten, an abandoned German theater, and Verrückt, an insane asylum known as the Wittenau Sanatorium in Berlin. It's a real place. Richtofen tells the defective scientist the pyramid is an ancient device that teleports you to the ether. He studied the hieroglyphs on the pyramid. Richtofen makes Dr. Groff the leader of operations at the base and tells him to go nuts and go wild and experiment on the MPD to see how it works and how to activate it. On January 1942, Dr. Maxis gives Samantha a German shepherd named Fluffy, but because of their German accent it sounds like they're saying Flossie. The dog is pregnant and expecting a litter. On April 17th, 1942, Dr. Maxis develops the ray gun, while Dr. Porter is tasked with making the second generation model, aka the Porter's X2 ray gun. Groff kills a rat in the MPD and his soul goes into the device. They then learn how it works. H sucks up souls, like a straw. They then get soldiers and scientists to be sacrificed so they can fully power it up. A couple of months later, Takeo Masaki, a Japanese servant of the Emperor, sent by the Emperor of Japan to oversee the experiments done by Division 9. On December 14th, 1942, Richtofen creates the monkey bomb. This is Symbol Monkey, dynamite taped to its back. Nikolai Belinsky gets captured by Group 935 during the Battle of Stalingrad and used as a test subject. On June 15th of 1943, Takeo Masaki writes in his notes to the Emperor that the work here is unacceptable. Shortly after, he is taken prisoner by the Emperor's orders. He's used as a test subject for Division 9 and Group 935. Now what time is it? Infiltration time! June 4th, 1945, almost 2 years later, an Allied plane crashes over an airfield into some trucks carrying some corpses and 115. Survivors of the crash manage to escape to a bunker as their last stand against the zombies. This is Nacht der Untoten. Everyone there died. On June 17th, OSS spy Peter McCann infiltrates Darius. On June 29th, 1935, Dr. Groff and Dr. Schuster create the wave gun. It's the first dual-wield wonder weapon in zombies. What it does was work quite like the Wunderwaffe, but not make a chain reaction. You can also put the two guns together and then it shoots rounds and make a chain reaction. What they do is that the zombies start puking and floating up and exploding. It's weird. On August 31st, 1945, CIA handler Cornelius Purnell confirms that Peter McCann has been successfully infiltrated 935 and has been transferred to Verrückt. Purnell suggests the idea of sending a Marine squad to the facility. The next day, September 1st, Peter's cover is blown and is captured by Group 935. 2 days later, an outbreak occurs at the facility and Peter escapes. 3 days later, the Marine squad arrives. They are led by Tank Dempsey. By the time they get there, Peter's gone and fight off the increasing zombie horde. In the aftermath, nobody survives except for Dempsey and he's captured by Group 935. This is the map Verrückt. We aren't done yet with the story as there is a large gap between Verrückt and the next map. On the 13th of September, Purnell attempts to contact Peter to go to the Rising Sun facility to rendezvous.
R-4808N 37 14 06 115 48 40.
I hope you're receiving this transmission, Peter. If you are not, then all is already lost. You must know by now that we failed to contain the asylum. Now we had to move the experiment here. Location. The numbers will guide you. The giant must remain all costs. Repeat, Darius must remain safe at all costs. The DG2 experiments continue. Maybe our only advantage now. Find Dr. Maxis. They may know what's going on. The use of 115 is dangerous at best. I'm not sure we can continue here. We've lost most of our best people. I hope you get this. It hasn't happened there too. But I'm almost out of hope.
6054 06.96 101 55 44.94.
Then on the 17th, Dempsey gets sent to the Siberian facility where the rest of the test subjects are, Nikolai Belinsky and Takeo Masaki. On the 20th, Richtofen records a log explaining how the test subjects' minds are broken, playing some basic functions. Any specific memories are wiped from their brain. Nikolai has responded only with a serum made primarily of vodka. Taki is just rambling to himself some proverb, and Tank is very rebellious.
Log entry 1473. Date, September 17th, 1940. Died. Today. Damn dirty Nazi. Uh-oh. That's right. You want some of this? I'm taking you home fast. Freak. Nine. Think so, America. I suppose this must be the replacement then. Time to get to work. I can still hear you. Hit him again, Mr. Stiff!
October 1st, 1945, Richtofen learns that Maxis would not produce the DG2 as he promised he would. This makes Richtofen abandon Maxis' undead army project. On the 8th of October, 1945, Dr. Groff informs Richtofen that the MPD is almost ready. On October 12, 1945, Dr. Groff tells Richtofen the MPD is all good to go and is awaiting the conduit. Richtofen responds and tells him how he will dispose of Maxis and Samantha because that's just part of his plan. The next day, Maxis and Richtofen are experimenting on Fluffy for Test 5. The funny thing is that all the previous experiments were a failure. This is a case because, since Maxis doesn't know about the moon stuff and how they got to the teleporter working, Richtofen calibrates the system wrong. What happens is that Fluffy got teleported to the ether. In the ether, you get a bunch of powers to the crap that lets you do things. After that, during Test 6, Fluffy teleports back into the teleporter just as Samantha walks by. By now, the dog is all beat up. It is a zombie or a hellhound. Samantha sees the dog and runs after it. Maxis chases her into the teleporter. Richtofen closes the door on the teleporter, locking all of them in. He says a cliche line and teleports them all to completely random places. Fluffy goes back to the ether while Maxis gets teleported to the crazy place. It's a separate dimension. It is a bridge dimension in order to get to Agartha, the place of true power where the Keepers reside. They are the creators of all the dimensions. While Maxis is at the crazy place, he learns the ability to fuse with electricity. This makes sense later on in part 2. She runs terrified as scientists chase her. She runs to the MPD, which is reserved for Richtofen. The MPD will not open back up, and the scientists think that if they get Maxis there, they can get him to convince her to get out of there. Dr. Groff tells him this, and Richtofen says to keep an eye out for an evil-looking dog. Schuster and Groff create a machine that will pluck anyone from where they are and teleport them to the moon. They get a sample of Maxis' DNA and they teleport him to the moon. They show Maxis to the MPD and tell him to coax her out of there. Instead, he tells her to kill them all. He then shoots himself and combines with moon technology after his soul gets sucked up into the MPD. Samantha snaps and unleashes the undead upon Group 935. Almost all the bases are consumed in an outbreak. Either Gersh and Schuster died at the moon or escaped and got hired by the US government to work for them, but that'll make sense afterwards. The next day, October 14th, 1945, Richtofen gets his 3 test subjects and offers them to help him. With no memories of who they are or who they used to actually be, they say yes. October 18th, 1945, Peter McCain parachutes to the Rising Sun facility, but shortly after dies for an unknown reason. All we know is that the body is hung by the roof with his parachute. This could have been done by himself, or someone else hung him and put the parachute there as a cover-up. October 21st, 1945, Ishinonuma, or our next map. Our 4 characters teleport to the Rising Sun facility to find Peter McCain hanging. The reason they're there is to get Richtofen's diary. He needs it to form a plan so he can get Samantha out of the MPD. The Rising Sun facility is a musty, creepy swamp inspired by the Japanese suicide forest. In Japanese, Shinonuma translates to Swamp of the Dead. The map has an overall creepy vibe to it. You can find a hidden message left by Cornelius Purnell to Peter in the map. The map is where the story started for COD Zombies. The story wasn't very big then. It's elaborated like 100 times by the maps afterwards. Some new features are random perks, the Wunderwaffe DG2, the Flogger, the Hellhounds. The random perks are random because when you enter a certain building containing a perk location, the perk there is random. The Wunderwaffe DG2 is a wonder weapon that shoots electricity and is always a one-shot kill, depending on no matter what round it is. And create a chain reaction of electrocution. In German, Wunderwaffe translates to wonder weapon or miracle weapon. The Flogger is a trap that can only be explained by watching it. Hellhounds are the puppies of Fluffy. She gave birth while in the ether. She sends the puppies after you. When the round is complete, you get rewarded with a max ammo. These runs happen about every 5 rounds. Sometimes it happens on 6, maybe 7.
No match for the U.S. Marines.
The dogs are the very first boss zombie and set the standard for boss zombies as the rest of the series. This kind of variation can easily take an already fun game mode and make a new enemy to fight, which switches up the gameplay a little bit, seeing as they behave differently than regular human zombies. The map is probably the most underrated map in Zombies history, even though it brought a ton of new things that would shape the game mode forever. When I mentioned the Flogger, I didn't mean the Flogger would be in it like a lot more maps afterwards. I meant that new creative traps would be made besides the regular lecture trap. In this map, you don't have to turn on the power, all the perks and traps are already on. It's one of the only maps to do this. Fino Numa is also the first map where training was creative. If you don't know what training is, it's a strategy in which a player must find an area where they run in circles. Since Fino Numa was the biggest map upon its release, there's more freedom in it than other maps before, since you could go outside instead of pulling up in one building. The strat was originally called Rape Training, or the Rape Train, but as time went on, its name was more commonly known as just Training. If you asked, where does the rape come in? They don't tell you. It means raped more metaphorically. There's no real raping that goes on during the process. This means that the zombies will follow you around the circular area. Since you're running in a loop like a train, the zombies will never catch up to you. The metaphorical rape part comes in because as you run around the loop or train, you shoot the zombies as you do it. It means that they're doomed to follow you to their death. As you should know, raping is very much without consent. It means that since they're forced to follow you and die, it is comparable to rape. Creepy part of this map is the vibe and ambience of the map, the setting of it. As you look around, you feel isolated from civilization. The desolate remote area makes you feel kind of vulnerable. There's so many creepy sounds and secrets in it that make it feel more than just a game. It makes its own location with history and inhabitants besides just zombies. The next map, Derice, or Derisa, October 28th, 1945. With his diary in hand, Richtofen planned to teleport to the Siberian outpost and retrieve the golden rod. He traveled to Derice to get to the teleporter, led him to the Siberian outpost. The map Derice is the Group 935 headquarters. Since Samantha released the undead on practically every Group 935 facility, Derice was overrun. In the process, Dr. H. Porter committed suicide. He tried overdosing on pills, but he couldn't find them, so he just hung himself. If you look outside the map, you can actually find his body. In this map, they introduced the Pack-a-Punch. It is included with pretty much every map ever since. The Pack-a-Punch is a machine that upgrades your weapons instead of firing bullets. They fire a pink laser thing. It usually makes your weapon a lot better. It costs 5,000 points. In this map, the way you access it is that you link all the teleporters to the mainframe with a pad in the starting room. After you do that, all the teleporters will be ready to teleport you to the spawn area. They're a good escape route / transportation method. In the real world, there are theories about Die Glock, a Nazi bell, supposedly a Nazi levitation device very similar to a flying saucer thing. Teleporters are similar in shape to bells. Dempsey will even mention it.
Anyone ever hear about die block?
If you do a game of hide and seek with Samantha, you must first shoot this panel on the stone arc thing outside the map. Then some power-ups will spin around inside of it and then fly off into the distance. It very well could be also a reference to Dig Block. After that, you must find 2 teddy bears and a monkey bomb. After shooting them, Samantha will say game over, and that's pretty much it. This was the very first official Easter egg. It is called the Fly Trap Easter egg. It's overall pointless, but a nice touch.
Without bullets, I'll have to resort to stabbing! Tiny little orc!
Back to story time! When the crew tried to teleport, the Wunderwaffe overloaded the teleporter, and instead made them travel to 1963 Kino der Toten. There's gonna be like 3 parts, I assume, and you can stay tuned for them, or you can leave right now, because I'm the most annoying person on the planet. I like parts.
Versorgt keine Wunden! Für dich, Kamerad. Erste Hilfe.